to get in here, get into the stream. We're going to get this party started, all right? We're going to get this party started, my friends. So tap in, get comfy, and we're going to go over some levels in just a few minutes. Just a few minutes, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in. Okay. It's been a beautiful Sunday. What's poppin', everybody? What's poppin'? It's a beautiful Sunday indeed. It is a beautiful Sunday indeed. What's up, everybody? What's up, Hamza? Wild Gaming? Kyle, what's going on, fam? What's up, Alia? Gonna give everyone a few minutes to tap in. Live on YouTube for a Sunday watch list, baby! We're gonna start doing this every single week. Gonna start doing this every single week. So gonna give people a few minutes to tap in. We're going to get this party started, discipline over dopamine style. What's up, Cubby? What's up, Samuel? Samuel, you the go. I'll be joining your Discord soon. I appreciate you, bro. Got a free link below. Make sure y'all tap into the free version as well. What's up, Jennifer? What's up, War Files? What's up, Ashley? What's up, everybody? What's good? I'm super excited for this trading week. I think it's about time I size up a little, too. Got to remind them the king's back. Got to remind them the king is back, baby. What's up, Cliff? Good evening, bro. Going to start this in 4 minutes. We're going to start going over levels and data and such for the week. Going to start going over everything in 4 minutes. What's up, N50? What's up, Sage? What's good, everybody? What's up, Tariq? Got to remind him, baby. What's up, Matthew? Chicago in the house. I see you. Raul, all right? What's good, everybody? While we're waiting for this market, or for everyone to hop in, see what we're doing overnight. It'll pop up. I kind of expected that, though. We had such an aggressive reaction off the 800 level. I think it's going to be a tough cookie to crack. But when we do, well, we'll save that for when we go over our levels here in a moment. But I think we're going to have a very good week of price action. I'll tell you all that much. Now, as a reminder, too, I've been trading live on this channel every single morning here on YouTube. There is a bit of delay. The best place to be is inside Discord, but the second best place to be is here on YouTube. So I appreciate y'all tapping in with me and trusting me with your trading education. YouTube, baby. You got 2 minutes, baby. Don't. South Alabama in the building. South Alabama. Roll Tide then, yeah? Roll Tide. How we doing? We're great, Sal. We're going to start with this data in 2 minutes. It's 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern Time. We are going to go ahead and get started with what we need to watch for the week. My levels on NQ, ES, and my entire game plan. And then also some individual stocks that I think could provide some opportunity for this week as well. We got a lot of opportunity coming this incoming week. I'm excited to help guide you guys through it. I'm also excited to size up a bit this week. I may even have to go back to trade a few options. If you remember, you don't want to sleep on Jdun on the options trades. I'll throw a few 10K days at you. What's up, Big Rock? Welcome, bro. Oh, you're Auburn. Auburn, I see. My bad, bro. My bad, my guy. All right, y'all. let's go ahead. We need that 80K in one day, Jdun. Not the I'm rich already. I'm already rich. We don't need to trade that. All right. You want me to get the 80K again? My biggest day ever is 88,800, almost 89 grand. May got to run it back up again. Put some size on again. But all right, welcome everyone to the stream. I appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate y'all having a discipline over dopamine-based mindset and being here to learn with me on this fine Sunday evening. Every time I do these lives, webinars, or anything where you're putting your valuable, I should say, not hard-earned, your valuable time in, I'm going to do my absolute best to show out for y'all. So let's start first with looking at our economic calendar. So this week we don't have a lot in terms of data. Basically no data Monday, factory orders. Tuesday, trade deficit. PMI could give us a little move. Then ISM, sometimes it's odd. Sometimes ISM will give us a really nice flash move, but more often than not, it's a nothing burger. Wednesday, no data, just Fed speakers. Thursday, we have initial jobless claims. That's the biggest data of the week. Wholesale inventories, probably not a whole lot. Fed speaker. And then Friday, no data again. So it's a very weak, no pun intended, week of data in terms of announcements or certain numbers that we have. So personally for me, I like when that happens. I like when we have an aggressive week like we saw last week. Felony, the GOAT, let's do it, bro. I'd love to, man. The man, the myth, the legend, Felony, absolute monster. Once y'all are done here, go tap in with that man too. He's an hour after me. So what I like about what we saw last week was we had these two aggressive sell days. Now, I'm sure just by looking at this chart, where do you guys think in terms of sell-off my main target is? I want you guys to type it in chat. Where's the most obvious spot that I would love to see us head to? I don't know if it's going to happen, but what's my first level going to be here in this range that we want to head to? Type it in chat. Let me see it. We're going to make this an interactive session. Tell me where I think the most likely place price will see a bounce up is, I should say. Hint. My mouse is on it. We noticed this breakout here of all-time highs, this full body candle above these two previous all-time high points, right? See point A and point B. Well, what do we notice above that specific point? We see an aggressive close over, and we never really retest back down, right? We have this opening here. We don't see much an actual wick down, and we just go straight up from there. We never came and retested it into this aggressive candle, this fair value gap in here from 102 all the way up to 375. Call it 400. From 100 to 400, we never retest in here. So that's going to be my number one watch. Again, I understand it's aggressive. I'm not even sure we get there this week. Maybe we do if we continue last week selling. This volume looks very good, might I add. Right? We had aggressive selling here, bearish engulfing on the daily, and then followed by another aggressive sell here with a close above 800, which is the only sign of life the bulls had. We held this area where we touched once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times before aggressively moving up, testing back here. And if we break down that time frame a little further, let's go to the 15-minute chart here. You can see that at each test of that area, we never close a 15-minute candle below that 800. We aggressively move up here with aggressive volume. We have higher volume here, but guess what? We have this wick up here and then aggressive push up here. So we have no closes below 800. So that tells me the first thing I want to watch for this coming week is this 800 area. I'm not going to go short until we have at least an hourly close below that area. And what I mean by not going to go short is I'm not going to try to short these lows until we see an hourly close below this area, in which that's what I would want to see us come and have something like this happen. We move down, close the hourly, move back up, retest this support, turn resistance, and then we move back down. That's a high probability setup. I don't care if it closes below in the 1 minute. I want to see the 1 hour or even better, the 4 hour close below, so that when we come back up, retest this area, we have a strong bias towards this support finally being broken and now being turned into resistance. Hey, Jdun, I just want to thank you for helping me pass my funded last Friday. Next step, my first payout. That's awesome, Ivan. Appreciate you being here, bro. So I want to see us close below that area. That is the line in the sand for this week. Now, how about on the flip side? Let's go over two different scenarios. That's scenario one. Scenario two for me is we look for a reject in here from where we can pop up, see some potential selling kick in, and then find another lower high to continue down. So let's look at that potential idea. What I like to do in this scenario where we're at near all-time highs, not quite there, is I'm going to draw a fib retracement from all-time high up down to this low. Now, what this tells us in here, and it's not the most ideal setup, is that 50% from this low retraced would be up around this 300 area, right above this wick. So for me, I like to see this 50% retracement more aligned with previous supports or resistances. For example, right here you can see at this 200, we had multiple touch, 4 times a touch of support here. So I would have rather seen this 50% lined up with a key resistance turn support. That would have been a very high probability setup for me trying shorts as we pop up to 200. Now, in this particular scenario where we have two different trend setting candles, right? We have the bearish engulfing here on the daily, on NQ or QQQ, where it's valid for both of them. And then we have a continuation candle, a continuation of trend candle with higher red volume and aggressive selling to the downside. That tells me somewhere in here, if we're going to reject, it's likely going to be between this 200 up to this 300. So this is the area that I will ultimately be watching this week for a reject. We're a ways away. We're down here at 22,900. So we're about, 300 points away, which in this market isn't really that crazy. But that is my main watch as far as a lower high on the NQ daily chart. Same thing goes for the weekly, right? Let's check this out. Let's check out the weekly. See what that says. It says aggressive selling. It says bearish engulfing. So where's this previous weekly low wick to the previous weekly open? It's up here at 110 all the way up to this 226. So arguably speaking, I'd say based on the daily and the weekly, if we're going to look for a short up into macro levels, I want to look for this 220 area. That's what I want you guys to understand, is that when we're finding these key levels on the daily, on the weekly, and on the 4-hour, you have to find key inflection points where we touched before. The best case scenario, in my opinion, the best case scenario for everything for us as traders would be for us to pop up a little. Hopefully we reject in our area of 200, fail up there, break down 800 here, retest back up, come back down here to test this previous all-time high area, 400 down to, call it 200. It's wide, but in this area, and then make our way back up to all-time highs. That would be the perfect scenario. Obviously, we know the markets. We know that they're rigged against us. So oftentimes things don't happen perfectly, but when they do, that's what we want to see, baby. That is when you have to be able to execute. When you get those perfect setups, when you get those perfect scenarios that give you everything that you need to see to enter and execute with precision and with system, that's where you make a big load of your money. On the A+ setups, you execute without hesitation that can keep moving in your favor. So that's what I would like to see on the weekly and the daily chart. Now let's go check out ES. Let's take a flip over here, and we're also going to go through some individual names today as well. Let's see what we have here. Same idea. We have this 6167 area that was previous resistance, now turned support. Well, what do we notice about that? We have this aggressive candle through, full body, in which we never retested on the weekly. Let's look at it on the daily as well. Again, no retest there. We had this aggressive breakthrough candle with rising volume that we never retested. And guess what? We're a lot closer on ES than we are on the NASDAQ. So I think that arguably we're at 62.71 right now. This is down at 61.57. If we see this move down here this week, that would arguably be where I wanted to personally see us test this area, and then find longs in this area with a hard stop, right? If you're day trading, call it. If you want to enter at 61.50, say we get the 55. The low of this candle is around 41.45. So if you wanted a higher risk trade for a swing trade, for example, you enter here, have a 10-point stop, and you're looking for a nice 20, 30, 40, 50-point move back up to the top. Vice versa, if you are day trading, maybe you use less size. You wait for a move to 55 to 50, keep stops below this candle, use a little less size, have a little more wiggle room for risk, and allow that trade to pop up more. That's the flip side. If you want more risk, you use less size. And that's how you get consistent payouts. That's how you consistently keep and make more money. You can't add more risk on to keep the same size. You can't add more risk on and hold your trade for an extra 5, 7, 10 points and have the same size you're using with 5 points. It doesn't work like that because emotions kick in and fear kicks in. And sometimes it's rationalized. A lot of people tell me, they say, well, Jdun, how do I get this emotion in my trading to just go away? And I say, well, let's talk about fear first, right? When we look at fear, it's sometimes a good thing for us to protect us from potentially massive losses. If you're using an extra 2 or 3 minis on NQ or an extra 2 or 3 minis on ES than you're used to, fear may be rationalized. If you have an extra 20 points or 30 points of risk on NQ or 3 to 5 points on ES, your fear might be rationalized because you have more risk on the table, right? So when you have that extra risk on the table, sometimes that's your brain telling you, hey, I'm not set out for this. I personally can't mentally handle this, and you need to listen to that. Now, if you're at your minimum size, if you have your risk defined and you're still feeling that fear, it's oftentimes associated with your ego. You don't want to feel like a loser. You don't want to feel like a failure if your trade doesn't work out. So just keep that in mind this week. And when every trade you enter, look at all the details of it and the system of it. That's what really matters. Now let's also talk about the 62.42 area up to 62.50 on ES. So we touched down here twice, 3 times. Touch, touch, and touch. Multiple touches of support in this area, right? So if we end up getting that breakdown, if we end up getting this breakdown right here of this specific level here at 62.40, we'll call it, that is where if we close below on a higher time frame, I'd like to see us come down, test back up, support, turn resistance, and then work our way down to our price target of this impulse candle previous all-time high, now turn to support. That's what I would personally like to see. So those are my main watches from a macro perspective. And on ES, I should say as well, on this pop-up, this candle high goes to 63.73. Let's check out what our 50% retracement is down here. Again, similar to NQ, where we have very close to this candle wick high up at 63.57. I'd like to see us test the 63.20 up to 63.30 area for a reject for a lower high and continuation down. That's going to be my number one watch on ES and SPY, or on NQ and QQQ. We just went over that. And as far as macro levels, guys, that's pretty much all I have in terms of the indices, right? Because we break this down a little further. Let's go to the hourly chart here. And we can see we have this way too marked out. There's way too many lines. Looks like my 2-year-old got a hold of this chart. Right, we look at the 1 hour, and actually let's start with the 4 hour here. So we look at the 4 hour here. And when I'm looking at this, I like to look at where are the key candle closes, where are any key volume pumps with fair value gaps, with key draws of liquidity, or where are our incoming levels that we could see price action hit on. So for me on this, I look at this chart and I say, well, we touched this area, 62.40 multiple times. Below that, we don't really have, the only other key support we have in here is this volume spike on the 4 hour between the 61.71 and 61.87. So sometimes, especially in my younger days, what I would do, or what I still will do on occasion, is I'll mark that out, right? Just keep the zone marked so that when we come into it, I don't forget, or I can know like, hey, we're trending down into it. We broke down these previous highs. We closed below here. Now, if I end up taking the shorts, call it, we closed that hourly here. We retest back up here. If I take a short position, call it right here, I have a pretty clear price target because I know this is our next demand. And that's what I want to look at. So I like to be able to target clear areas that are technically valid because it helps me hold my trades longer. And it also helps me know where my trades are potentially going to be invalid afterwards. Does that make sense to everybody? That's what I personally like to see. I appreciate you. No better place to work on emotions than Team Bull. I appreciate you, bro. And as a reminder, if you guys are trading on funded accounts, make sure you guys use code Jdun with Apex and Tradeify or FFF. Appreciate all y'all, all the kind words. Now let's look at this real quick too. I want to take a peek at a few individual names when we may get back to NASDAQ. I'm going to answer some charting questions as well for you guys on Sundays because that is what we do. And as a reminder, we'll be doing this every single Sunday. So hopefully you get a lot of value from it and learn and can keep that moving. So let's first go to the weekly chart here. Let's start diagnosing. Do we have any key levels, any clear trend lines? Well, we do. We have a very clear trend line down right here. And then on the way up, we also have multiple touches here. Now, to me, and what I personally look at, Tesla's an interesting one because it's just its own beast. But when you see a pattern like this, I'm not a big pattern trader. Just let's make that very clear. I'm not a big triangle trader. I always make jokes about that. But when you see something like this, a symmetrical triangle forming, yeah, there's no Z in Tesla. You got me there. Tesla. We have lower highs setting in. So we have, let's go here. Where's my handy dandy? There we go. We have lower high 1, 2, 3. We also have higher low, higher low. Now, when we see something like this, even though these last two candles look bullish, you typically have a higher probability of breaking in the way that the pennant or triangle came from. In this case, this is the body of it, right? It was up, consolidate, and typically speaking, you'll see move back up and break out, right? Looks like a pickle. Typically, you'll see us move back up and break out in the direction it came from. Oh, shit. Oh, there we go. It stopped connecting for a second. That was weird. Oh, there we go. We're good. 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 Okay. We're back in action. It shouldn't be lagging. The connection's perfect now. We're at 7,000 kbps. So we have these higher lows, all these higher lows up here. Typically speaking, you're going to see us move in the direction we came from, consolidate, and continue that way. Now, I'm not saying that's the case here, but there is two key levels I want to watch. All right. The first one is going to be if we break on the daily and close below this 300 area, right? We still haven't closed below this 300 in a while. I'd like to see us break, right, for a day trade, retest, and then continue down, right? Price target would be below this like 275. Vice versa, if we're going to trend to the upside, I'd like to see us, it's a ways away. I'd like to see us break above this 340. 340, if we broke above, retested, I think that would give us some nice confirmation to continue moving all the way to the upside to this price target of 370. So when we're looking at trades from the weekly perspective, obviously we would break it down on the daily chart, on the hourly chart, and the 5 and the 15. You know, I'm never going to be day trading actively on the daily, right? I'm going to be sitting on my 5 and my 15 as I do every single day. So when we get to those key levels, as you see we have marked out, for example, you look for stuff like this. Where we come down here, we get this aggressive push up on higher volume. You have your key levels mapped out. And this tells us when you have a reaction like this, and this goes for SPY, QQQ, NQ, ES, all of those different instruments. And if you trade with me every day, you know this is how I trade. If we see a key level reaction, right? So 300 area, whole psych, plus our mapped 299, we have higher volume on a reversal candlestick there's a very high probability that this trade is going to... What's going on? Why does it keep doing it? Lagging again. I pay way too much for this internet. I pay way too much for my internet to be lagging. For my business internet. There we go. That's so odd. What up, what up, what up? It's so odd it did that. Like, it literally shows perfect connections on my end. So when you see that reaction off a key level like this on the 5-minute chart, trading doesn't have to be complicated, right? You wait for the key reactions. You wait for the key levels to hit and VPA, yeah, right? And VPA to confirm. When you have those things all aligned, for example, in this trade, let's look through this. This is a textbook trade that I would take. Any 10 out of 10 times I see this happen in real time. So we come down, test key psych, whole psych number 300, whole level or key level 298, 299. We close this candle at 300. We test back down into here. We know the low of this is 298, right? 297.8, call it 298. So if we enter this trade here at 300, we have $2 of risk on this downside. So we know that we have $2 of risk on the downside, meaning on this upside, I want to see us move at least $3. So at least up to 303, because my first trim, I always want to see us at 1.5R. Now, you'll hear a lot of gurus say, oh, you have to have 3-to-1 on every trade. No, you don't. Because for all you guys in the chat, I'm curious in the comments, how many of you guys have tried waiting till 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio every time, and how does it work out? How does it work out for you guys? Because for me, if I wait till 3-to-1 to take my first trim, I find myself getting stopped out a lot. And that don't work for me. Whereas if I take my first trim at 1.5R, that allows me to do this. I can move my stop up to break even. If it comes back down, at least I paid myself something, right? It's like, for example, if you're a contractor. This is an example that I like to use. If you're a contractor and you start a paint job and it's for a client you've never met, well, throughout the job, as you make progress, you ask for progress payments. Hey, I'm halfway done with the house. Can I get a little bit more payment? Because they don't want to get to the end of the job, get almost done, and the person they're painting for or working for says, hey, I don't have any money, I can't pay you. It don't work like that. So for me, I'd rather pay myself a little here, set my stop loss to break even, reward myself a little for this good entry, just in case we see a move back down. I still rewarded myself for the move I caught from here to here. Now, ideally, we never come back to that area and we can slowly keep scaling on the way up. You know, ideally, if this trade works perfect, which, by the way, trades do not work perfect like this. You don't always sell at the top and buy at the bottom. I will never advertise that for my system. But what I can tell you is that if, hypothetically speaking, you hold your runners into those areas, this ends up being a 4 to 5R trade. Why is this internet lagging again? What's going on with my internet? I'm about to have to throw it out, man. What is going on with this? We're going to have to figure it out. This internet ain't it. It's not working for us, man. I want you guys focusing on catching that bigger move, even if it's with 1 or 2 contracts. Even if it's only with 1 or 2 contracts, that's what I want you guys focusing on, is catching a majority of the move, getting that R multiple up to 2R, 3R, 4R. I'm gonna have to take this back to the company. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know why it keeps cutting out. It shows good on my end, then it just goes out. That ain't it. That ain't cool. That ain't cool. So that's what I want you guys focusing on this week. I want you guys focusing on catching the bigger moves, right? And a lot of that intraday just comes from patience, guys. Like, you know, waiting for those key levels to hit. A lot of people will see us come down. Just for example, right? We have the low to the high, 50% retracement. A lot of times people see these aggressive sell candles down, they try to short at the bottom. Well, that doesn't work like that. We have a system for a reason. Oh my gosh, bro, this internet. This internet, dude. It's dying on us. Why is it doing this? I got to fix this before tomorrow. I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's slacking. So the problem with most people is that they see a sell candle down, 2 sell candles down, and they try to chase at the bottom or buy at the top. We have a system for a reason. For me, that system includes, right, we find the London high and the London low. I never use Asia. I could care less about what Asia's telling us. All right? I mean, God bless you, China, but I don't care what Asia's telling us. London high, London low. And then I want to map out what's our 15-minute high and 15-minute low. So we have that here. We map that out every single morning on YouTube. And 15-minute low. Okay? 5, 10, 15. Okay, got it. Good. So now that we have these tell us a lot, right? These levels tell us a ton in terms of keeping us centered for our day trades. Because when we can work around these levels with key closes below or key, yeah, I know it sucks. Oh well. Or key closes above, you can find out a lot. For example, we see this London low here. How does this end up being respected? We know that if we build above here, but we start seeing rejections or failures to close above the London low, that typically means you're going to see some rejection. This is a prime example, right? You guys wait throughout the morning. You see touch of London low, fail. Touch up, fail. Touch up, fail. Volumes moving down simultaneously at the same time. We touch up, fail, and then we see aggressive touch, fail to the downside with no wicks above. So this to me would be the short entry, where you see us come here. We aggressively close below, higher volume. That's the key to enter. Say on this pop back up here, 17. You try the shorts. What's the high of this candle? 42. So from that 17 area, you have 28 points of risk. I like to go 20 to 30 points typically. And so on that, to get that 1.5 hour trade, all you need is around 40 points. And you're at 1.5 R with 28 points of risk. So you know if you hit this, you're going to hit it big. You take the trim, set your stops to break even. Guess what? You never come close to your stop loss again the rest of the morning. That's what I want you guys to understand and catch, at least, especially if you're in a live account. This is what's going to make you rich. You get rich from catching the big moves and holding. That's how you have really, really big days. That's what I want you guys primarily focusing on this coming week, is catching at least one of those big moves. I mean, selfishly speaking, we catch a lot of them inside Team Bull. But if you guys can catch one of those moves this week, have the discipline and have the patience to hold one of those moves this week, you're going to have a damn good week. And that's what I want y'all focusing on, guys, is just waiting for the chart to tell you what to do. Always have your risk defined. Your losses should never come as a surprise to you. You should never be surprised by how much you lose in one single trade. If you're surprised by how much you lose, your risk is not managed correctly. I see too many traders that get surprised. Oh my gosh, Jdun, I took this trade and somehow I lost X amount. Well, then you weren't prepared. You've got to be prepared for whatever the market throws at you. And that's the key, guys. That's how you really separate yourself from your old derogative trading habits. Hold on to those nuts and wait for your entry and exit. That is exactly right. That is 100,000,000% right. So my internet's been acting up this stream, so thank you guys that are still here. As a reminder, y'all, make sure y'all tap in, join the free Discord below. If you click on the description below, there's a free Discord link. If you're looking to get funded, now is the best time. Apex is 80% off. You can use code Jdun. I'm going to keep helping you guys get funded. I've seen some people already in chat that got funded last week, and I'm going to keep doing my absolute best every single day on these lives to help you guys get funded, get paid out, and use that money from your payouts to build your own live capital. So, trade smart, trade safe. I'm sorry this internet's being all messed up, but appreciate y'all being here. Make sure y'all tap in, and I look forward to helping you guys get funded, get paid out, and keep moving forward in your trading. All right. God bless you guys. I don't know why it's doing this. It keeps just going in and out for me. I'm sorry it's being like this, everybody. I'm sorry it's kicking you in and out and coming in and out, but I'm gonna call the Wi-Fi company tonight, or not tonight. They're not open, but tomorrow. And yeah, I'll be live in Team Bull this whole week. I'll be live on YouTube on this channel this week as well. So make sure you guys join me tomorrow morning. I'm gonna do my best to have the internet situation figured out. And yeah, hey, Bill Parker, he's gotten what, five payouts from Apex. 5 payouts from my boy, part of Team Bull Master. He's part of my Master Mentor program too. Shout out Bill. As a reminder, when you guys are getting your funded accounts, I don't want you guys living on those forever. You can use code Jdun for the best possible discount, but ideally you're not churning and burning accounts. I want you guys getting your payouts and moving your funds to live accounts. So I'll see you guys bright and early in the live. Sorry about the internet issues. We'll start doing these lives every single Sunday, and I want you going into the week with a full-on mindset, a discipline over dopamine mindset, and ready to kick this market's ass. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next live. See you tomorrow morning. Peace.